Hello, everybody. John Morrow speaking to you from Kissimmee, Florida, the Embassy Suites Hotel, located just off US Highway 192. We're just down the road from the mouse, as we like to say in this part of the country. And we are broadcasting on Facebook Live via the District 84 Facebook page. This podcast, of course, brought to us by our District Public Relations Manager, Fred Bergeron. Joining me today is Angela Audrey Reynolds, a newlywed. Angela, if you followed us in the Vegas Day event last August, got married live. It was streaming, there was singing, and there was even screaming and crying and tears. And it wasn't over the fact that she was marrying Stan. Angela's going to be joining me as an interviewer, and we are proud to play host to a gentleman that's coming to us from a great distance. But when I say that, he is a world traveled leader, both by way of Zoom as well as visiting points around the globe. He is an ambassador of ambassadors to Toastmasters. He has served in so many roles. We get an opportunity for you to meet and enjoy him, perhaps for your first time. And for me, it's a delight. This is my first time to actually be able to physically talk to him through this medium. I've read his posts. I've seen the work that he does. He's on both Facebook and LinkedIn. But ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome to the scene. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome current International Director of Toastmasters International, Roy Ganga, distinguished Toastmaster. Hello, Roy. How are you?
I am doing well, John. Thank you very much. Thank you, Angela. Good to see both of you here. Yeah, it's a privilege to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. We want to give the people on District 84 and those who are friends of District 84 Toastmasters the opportunity to learn a little bit about who you are, what you're currently doing, and then we're going to find about your journey and why it has brought you to this point. And hopefully we'll also touch on the challenges that we as Toastmasters face, but also the things that we can be excited about. And you're on the cutting edge of all of that. So, Roy, this is your forum. You're the guest. We want to hear from you.
Well, thank you. Just to give you a quick background from me, right? I reside in right outside of Atlanta, Georgia. I've been here for over 20 years now. Prior to that, I lived in Connecticut, but originally I'm from Guyana in South America. You'll hear a little bit about that tomorrow when I give my keynote presentation. I've served in district leadership role in District 14, club level, area level, division, district, and all the way up to where I am today. I'm the international director. And who would have known when I joined Toastmasters 20 years ago that I would be sitting here as an international director representing this organization and being an ambassador for this organization. None of us knew where this program would take us. And it has done miracles for a lot of us, including myself. And I really would like to share this with everybody out there. Every person I touch, I remind them and I encourage them to be a part of this wonderful program that we have here. I've heard people, and I'm sure you guys have heard as well, where people say Toastmasters is the best kept secret. Well, it's not a secret. It's just that we keep it to ourselves, right? And that is human nature, right? And I know we all know that. When we get better and we can enhance our skills and get better at it, we tend to, no, we don't want the next person to get better or better than us. So we don't share that part of it with them. But I would encourage all of you, go out there, touch anybody that you know that can benefit from this program or who just need to enhance their leadership or their communication skills, and you will see what impact it will make on them. So in a nutshell, I think you got where I am, where I'm from, why this program took me to where I need to be.
I do have one question. I wanted to ask you, the first club that you joined, do you remember the name of that club and what you felt like when you first became a Toastmaster back at the beginning of this process?
Yes, that club is still around. And just a quick backup. When I lived in Connecticut, I remember my boss telling me that Roy, Toastmasters will do good for you. But she never pushed it, and I never pursued it. I had no clue what it was. But then when I moved to Georgia, the company I was working for, we were starting a club, a corporate club. And they came around and they said, hey, Roy, we we need some additional members to get this club charter. Well, they actually conned me because that club chartered with over 50 members. And
That is a con job.
I got there. I remember that icebreaker. It wasn't an icebreaker so much more than the table topic question, because I was in a room with people that worked for me and people who I worked for, right? So it was both levels of people in there. And they asked me a question. To this day, I don't know what that question was. All I remember was my heart pounding so fast in my chest that if the earth had opened and sucked me in, I would have been the first to go in, because I just wanted to vomit. And I left that room with my legs shaking. And at that point is when I realized I needed help. Because, we can speak to small groups of people and we're comfortable doing that. But it's once you step out of your comfort zone and start speaking to a different audience is when you find those anxieties that took over.
Mm-hmm.
Never had, no regrets after that, though. 20 years later, I'm still here.
And God, look how far you've come. You've really taken it all the way. Wow. So tell me, I remember when I had to speak for the first time, when I walked into the Toastmasters, started off with, I felt like I was going to faint. I really did, but I stuck with it. I was like, I'm not giving up because I want to be strong as a public speaker. I have stories to tell. I have a message to send to this world. And if I don't get over this fear, it will continue to hold me in silence. So when I joined Toastmasters, I went because I was in pursuit of my voice. I wanted to make a difference with my voice. And I knew I had to break through that fear I had. And I hear it's the biggest fear there ever is for mankind, is that fear of speaking in public. So yeah, that I remember that day. I felt like I was fire engine red because everything inside of me was burning up and I was talking like 90 to nothing. And I just like, any minute now, I'm going to faint. I know I'm going to faint any second now. But I got through it. I got through it. And with each time getting up there, it got a little bit easier and a little bit easier. I still get nervous when I get up and speak. But now I have that voice. I know who I am and I feel more confident. So I'm able to get up and just have fun with people now.
Yeah.
Made a big difference.
By the way, I was just going to say, Roy, before you respond to that, she's fortunate to be a part of one of the best clubs we've got around here in Plant City, Florida Club. I mean, that is one super great club. That was my first Toastmasters experience, was Plant City. So
Nice.
they're just celebrating their 35th birthday, by the way. But Roy, anyway, that feeling that you're talking about, you've mentored a lot of people. For the benefit of some of the folks that are very new to us here at District 84 and new to Toastmasters, you've done a lot of coaching, a lot of mentoring, a lot of encouraging, some of it assigned, and a lot of it just out of the goodness of your heart, because that's what Toastmasters do. Do you have a special project that you're especially proud of that really was, like Angela said, they were either going to throw up or pass out one way or the other?
Yeah. And I am going to talk about that tomorrow. So tune in and listen to that. It's more, I'm going to give you a quick thing. It's more like, I call it awake your inner fire. And, how we can use this program to really find our voice. And Angela, you mentioned it there. You found your voice, right? This program has a lot of us, we found our voice, we found our passion. And I will talk about that tomorrow, how this program has made me found my passion and my purpose. And I want to make sure that others can follow in that footstep and find their passion as well. It's such a powerful program. And, listening to you, Angela, when you talk about, getting into the club and the fears are there, right? We all have those fears. I still have those fears. Yeah. And I always tell people, I said, the greatest of greatest, I'm sure, have some little butterflies there that attack them before they get up there to speak. Mm-hmm. But now I can control those butterflies, right? And I can use them to my advantage to make me deliver the message that I want to deliver, and people can listen to what I have to say. Because before, I think I was talking to people and they don't listen. At work, I would tell my staff things to do, and they would say, Or when you give your performance appraisals to people, it's like, oh, you see this glare on their faces, or they try to challenge you. Now I can sit back, or when I got better in with Toastmasters, I can able to sit back now, give a performance appraisal. It could be such a negative, such a bad performance appraisal, but I can spin it in a way that the employee takes the message that I am telling them to heart, because they need to improve on certain things that I'm telling them about, versus just giving me that glare that, oh my gosh, I don't want to see them in the parking lot after this
Oh,
conversation, right? So it really makes you look at things from a different perspective and how you respond to them. So I'm in agreement there with you, Angela. And those nerves, those butterflies do get to us sometimes.
They do.
Yeah.
we're coming up on our 100th anniversary as an organization. I think that's going to be 2024, Roy.
Yeah, pretty soon. We're 97 right now.
The thing I was wondering about, and this is, of course, what a lot of us want to hear from you about, let's talk about the challenges, the roadblocks, the difficulties, and the sometimes almost seemingly daunting circumstances of a worldwide pandemic, a lot of misinformation. Let's be honest, a lot of misinformation, which has caused us maybe to overreact. How do you feel at this stage as we are emerging now into perhaps maybe a post pandemic opportunity? How do you think Toastmasters dealt with that, handled it, and how would you score that?
Yeah. Good question there, John. I look at our organization, the way we address this pandemic, and the way the members themselves embrace their club meetings and the way they conducted their meetings. A lot of the clubs didn't wait for world headquarters to direct them on what to do, right? They took it on their own, their initiatives to work and start doing these online meetings.
Mm-hmm.
It has really took off. A lot of other corporations I have seen, corporations that I worked for in the past, that did not embrace online, and now they're really struggling. We took it to that next level, and the board of directors have really stepped up to assist the districts in a lot of ways, helping them with things like, and again, some of those I may mention tomorrow, but a lot of it is more how do we get the districts involved and get them, still keep the members engaged in what it is that they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And each of us, we have to always look back and say, why did we join Toastmasters? We joined, and I can guarantee you the majority of people that you're going to talk to, we joined because we want to either improve our communication skills or our leadership skills. Very few would say that they joined because they want to network, right? And that's okay. But for the majority, it's those two, communication and leadership skills. We never heard of contests. We never heard of area director, division director, being an international director. Is when we got into the program and we see what it can do for us. So the board of directors have been listening, and they listen to the members loud and clear, and the districts, from what the districts have been filtering up the chain. And we have implemented a lot of different programs and policies to make sure that hybrid meetings are a part of our future. Prior to COVID, we would not have heard that.
Yeah.
We would not have heard of online meetings continuing to be part of a district structure. Now you find that a lot of the on-districted clubs are going to be folded into districts at some point, sooner than later.
Mhm.
And we're going to find the hybrid model is here to stay, because clubs are really embracing it, and it works well for the members, because sometimes, and I'm sure your audience here is listening here, and they understand what I'm about to say, because sometimes you're in a meeting at work, or you're at an engagement somewhere, and then you realize, oh my, I have my Toastmasters meeting to attend, but now you can't get across town to where the location of the meeting is, and you're going to have to miss that meeting. And you may have had a role in that meeting, and now you have to forego that role. Here, we can join that meeting from anywhere we are.
Mm-hmm.
We can join it from our office. We can join it from home. We can even join it on our cell phones, driving maybe to the meeting, and still be a part of it. So we still have that opportunity to learn and grow. And that is what is making this organization different. And that is what World Headquarters has done to really set themselves apart from other corporations out there, where we really embrace the use of online technology.
Well, because of COVID and it thrown us into that state of having to now depend upon Zoom and platforms like that. I know for my generation, I was like really nervous, like, how do I learn all this technology? I'm not going to be able to figure this out. But it was like, okay, there has to be a way. It can't be that hard. So we just figured it out. We just really made it happen. But because of us being on Zoom, I can now be a part of multiple clubs in multiple areas. And I'm a part of this new club that's forming. It's called Lens Masters. And it's photographers from all over the place. So I get to meet photographers in New York and in California and from other countries. And it's not just people in my community. It's like it grew me even more as a person. And now we get to have Toastmasters based off of our interests, not just because we're in a demographic area. Now we're like, oh wait, we can do this for many things. Like, I love to write. Let's create a Toastmasters for writers. Let's do it for more than just being in a little city or a hometown. So it opens us up and it makes us stronger and it makes us think more outside of our box because we're learning so much about other cultures and about other people and how they live. I think it's the best thing that's ever happened to us.
It's amazing. It has made that connection so
Oh, it really
closer and more possible, because there is no way we would have made those connections that we have today without having to get on a plane and get somewhere, right? So now, as you mentioned, you can talk to different people in different countries and different cultures and get to understand them, and they get to understand you a little bit more. So it is so positive. There is nothing negative that I have seen within this organization that the COVID has done, other than maybe disrupt the flow of what we were used to. And having that in person, that personal touch that we always like to get out there and make sure that we can at least touch somebody and say, hey, how you're doing, and sit back after a meeting and chat with them a little bit. That's the only thing that I see that was really missing, but it made that personal connection even more greater.
Do you think, and this is just me speaking from my perspective, I myself have been a part of Toastmasters here in Florida now for over 33 years. And for me, it has been a progression of learning and learning. And the reason why I continued is simply because there's more going on here than just achieving awards and bling and excellence and serving and roles and everything. And they're all special and they're all wonderful. But for me, I always get more every time I go to a meeting. I come away with more than I did when I arrived. And the second thing is that I'm finding that I'm very comfortable in the niche of being a mentor, a coach, coming along beside someone and taking them on that journey and helping them to develop confidence in themselves. Not a arrogant confidence, but just a competent confidence that they've got the tools, they have the ability, and they were already gifted. Now they want to learn to channel it, because I benefited from the same kind of approach. Now, in that context of Toastmasters as an organization, I know that we have a lot of people that come through the door and go out the other side of the door. It's kind of like a revolving door. It's been the nature of Toastmasters. I'm not saying that as a negative, but it's true that some people arrive, they get a little out of it, and then they move on. And then there are those of us that are, for want of a better term, just pure unadulterated toastaholics. We are addicted to Toastmasters. I happen to be in that group, but that's because this is a family. But there are some interesting dynamics taking place here. We have lost membership, obviously. We have lost clubs as a result of that. Many of the districts, divisions, and areas have had to pare down and tighten the belt and come to a more smaller size. And it's, in a sense, we're almost like we're retooling. There's a challenge there. But what I think the people want to hear is what you, as an international director and working with our leaders in Colorado, what are the things that you are just absolutely excited and thrilled about that lie on the horizon for Toastmasters in the immediate future?
Well, if you're a club officer, you would see already there are new training materials out there to help with your club officers in an environment like this. And it's not only looking for today, it's looking at the future as well. And you mentioned that, because anything that we're doing at World Headquarters and on the board is projecting for the future. What can we do to make this organization better and to sustain what we have and what we will get? The pandemic indeed has done, said a lack of a term, a number on the clubs because of we losing the membership. Some of them because they just couldn't afford it any longer, right? They have to look at themselves and see, okay, how can they sustain their family and help their families versus with the Toastmasters because they've lost their jobs and that stuff. Those were things that pretty much were out of our control. Nobody could see that happening. Now we are at the rebuilding phase, and I look at this coming year as the year where we will re-energize and refocus on our priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Members are going to do so as well. And even the prospective members are going to be there to say, okay, what skills can I learn that will make me excel in my career? And here we have the tools to do it. And I always remind people that this is a lab for us to come and practice and fail and get better. So when we get out into the real world, we know exactly what we need to do. So the future is great. We do have a lot of programs that are happening there. As mentioned, the club officer training program. Some of the club officers may already see that. The district leadership, the district leaders program has some of them have changed a little bit as well to incorporate some of these things that that is happening right now in this environment that we're here. And because of the hybrid model that will happen with some of the clubs out there, we incorporated some of that as well. So how do you handle a hybrid environment? How do you survive in that environment? So mentoring is going to be important because you talk about that. And we want our seasoned Toastmasters to come and help mentor those younger members because they are new to the program. And forget pathways, forget the traditional model, forget all of that, but just get them acclimated to the club environment, get them acclimated to what it is that we do in Toastmasters and how it can benefit them. Understand their needs. And that is something that we don't do well enough at a club level. When we assign a mentor to a new member, we don't really tell the mentor what it is that they need to look for. So if we can help train our mentors and our coaches better, they can now go back out there and say, okay, John, you're a new member to my club. What are your goals? First thing I need to find out, what is it that you want to improve? What do you want Toastmasters? And now I can help you get there. That is what we need to do.
Why?
Angela?
Yeah, I'm all about that. It's getting to, oh my gosh, I love mentorship. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's when I mentor someone, it's my chance to really get to know that person and just like you said, get to understand why are they there, and to make sure that they understand why they're there. And as long as they keep that right in front of them, it'll just keep them coming back. Like it creates this hunger in them to just keep growing.
Yeah.
But if it's not for mentors, they get scared and they walk away.
Yeah.
I know I did that. After I first joined, I got scared and I walked away, and my mentor came after me and she got me. She's like, come on, girl, get back in here. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have came back because I really got terrified. But that mentor, she knew what to do. She knew that I was running out of fear, and she knew how to take care of me. And I owe her so much for that. But I can't say enough about mentorship. It's vital. It is so vital.
And we can look at all of our mentors who has worked with us in the past or who we are mentoring right now and how much they have grown. Because I again, like you, I am very indebted to my mentor for help pushing me to where I need to be. And I'm so appreciative of it. And that is what I do for my mentees as well. I want to make sure that they get the benefit of this program and really achieve their goals.
Right. Well, a mentor is able to see what the mentee cannot see. And I know there was a time it's like, I don't see myself being that brave, but you do. So I'm going to have to see myself through your eyes right now because I don't believe in me right now, but you believe in me. So her just almost like holding my hand through the beginning just changed my life. It really did. It's such a strong leadership skill to develop, is to be a mentor to someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very powerful.
And for the benefit of those of you that are just joining us, we are coming down to the end of our time segment here. And I just wanted to let you know we're talking with Roy Ganga, International Director for Toastmasters International. We are having the time of our life talking with him, and he's going to be joining us again tomorrow by the technology that we've talked about. And that, of course, is he's going to be presenting a keynote speech, a speech that is to inspire but also to challenge us as we move into the next fiscal year that will begin on July the 1st. And part of that process, as you know, Roy, is the leadership component. Leaders are not special because they outrank people. Leaders are special because they found a way to motivate people. And so, to wrap this incredibly wonderful uh, time with you, I'd like for you to share your final thoughts about the importance of leadership and give our people here in District 84 a little bit of a mini pep talk, because I know you're going to give us the real locker room talk tomorrow during the keynote. Would you do that for us?
Well, District 84, you already have good leaders there. You have your trio right now. Pim, I have known Pim for a while, but I think it's over the last 3 years is when I really got to see the side of Pim that I had not seen before. Very good leader. And for those of you who have followed this trio that you have right now, and see their growth and what they have been able to accomplish with their personal development, I am sure that they are role models for each and every one of you. Leadership is, as John mentioned there, is not about yourself. Leadership is how you can help others grow.
Yeah.
I had a saying when I was working, when in my corporate life, I said, you always treat your employees well. And then you can sit back and fold your hands, because if you treat them well, they will do the work for you. And that is what leadership is about. How to delegate, how to find the right people to do the job, and how to make sure that you set the direction where you need to take either your professional life or your Toastmasters journey. At the club level, we need to make sure that our members understand what leadership is and get them involved in the leadership aspect of it at the club level. Then they can see what's happening. That's where you wet your feet, right? You get your feet wet at the club level, and then your appetite opens up. And you said, okay, now let me see if I can challenge myself to do the area or the division director role. And once they get there, I guarantee you there's very few people who have done division director role that did not say that they wish they had continued their leadership journey in this organization, because it has done, at that point, you begin to see the difference, how you can set yourselves apart from others. It helps you in your personal life, your professional life, your community life, everywhere. And leadership is key. We need to make sure that we can continue to develop strong leaders in this organization.
Roy, I want to say on behalf of Angela and on behalf of all of us here in District 84, Central and North Florida, we're excited about the fact that you're going to be our keynote speaker tomorrow night. We are looking forward to hearing from you. I'm sort of waiting with bated breath, frankly, because this is my first chance to have actually talked with you, although I have read your work and I have read your posts and I have seen your encouragement. But we are just thrilled to death that you would grace our Facebook page with an opportunity to talk to you here for these last 30 minutes. This has been a joy. It's great to make a friend, but it's even greater to make a friend and be able to actually exchange with them. And this is as close to shaking hands and telling you how much we appreciate you as we can possibly do. So I want to thank you, Roy Ganga, International Director, for coming here with us today during day one of our conference here in Central Florida for District 84. Angela, she's excited to be a part of this, as am I. And I know that your good friend, Fred Bergeron, who you have provided great coaching and mentoring to as well, is grateful as anybody would be. So we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Now, everybody, we are going to be working to stream by Zoom live on Facebook this international director's inspirational keynote address for the Saturday night gathering. And you are in for a treat. And since you decided not to buy a ticket, since you decided not to come for whatever ridiculous reason you didn't come, you have an opportunity to watch his speech, and then you can feel all the more upset with yourself because you missed being here. But I'm saying all of that in jest and fun because the fact of the matter is, were it not for great leadership here, we wouldn't be having a conference. And that's the truth. With the COVID-19 situation still not out of our hair, this has been a great journey. It's an odyssey, but I can tell you we have an oasis waiting here. I wish you could be here with us personally, Roy, but to you up there in Georgia, from us down here in Central Florida, blessings to you. Godspeed. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest has been Roy Ganga. Angela Audrey Reynolds has been my co-host. I'm John Morrow on behalf of the District 84 Public Relations team. Thank you for tuning in, and enjoy the remainder of your day and your weekend. So long, everybody.